First started out with a couple dogs, and then a couple became 10, and then 10 became 20, and he said initially he was able to care for the dogs, clean up after them, and until it got to be around 20 or so dogs, and then it just kind of got out of his control. And he said, next thing you know, there's 50 dogs, and I just can't keep up with them anymore.
The John Ruggieri case started in July 2018 when sheriff's deputies and staff from the Monadnock Humane Society came to his house in Marlborough for an eviction. He had 52 Labrador retrievers on the property, 33 adult dogs, 19 puppies. A few weeks later, the Cheshire County Sheriff's Office charged Mr. Ruggieri with 4 counts, I believe, of misdemeanor animal cruelty, sort of relating to these allegedly unsanitary conditions at his property. There was a trial Friday. The state was trying him on 5 charges. This was just a bench trial, so there was no jury. It was all up to the judge. John Ruggieri was found guilty of 2 counts of animal cruelty relating to unsanitary conditions at his house. 1 charge alleging that he had kept the dogs in unsanitary conditions to the point that it amounted to cruel treatment.
When you first walked into the basement of the residence, it was very, very strong odor of dog urine and dog feces. As you walked up the stairs and got to the first floor of the residence, the floor was obviously very dirty, and there was a strong smell, like there would be with that many animals living in the house.
The strong smell, could you identify the smell?
Urine, feces, wet dog.
We saw a pen with numerous dogs in it that were aggressively attacking each other. They were worked up, I would assume, because people were on the property.
The other charge he was convicted of mentions a specific litter of puppies that were found in a bathtub, apparently covered in urine and feces. The bathtub was. The judge found there was enough evidence that the conditions of that bathtub caused lesions on these puppies' paws. So, again, unsanitary conditions harming these dogs in some way.
In my judgment, it's clear beyond a reasonable doubt that you are in fact guilty of that complaint, number 506.
Writing about court cases in some ways can be tricky because police, prosecutors, defense lawyers are typically pretty tight-lipped about details in the case, and that's part of their professional responsibility a lot of times. On the other hand, you do have a public court record with motions, affidavits, which are sworn statements where a law enforcement officer sort of lays out the facts of the case. The charges were filed in August, early August. That's when we first learned about it. There's a look we did at some police records going back several years. There's a long history of sort of neighbors complaining about these dogs, whether they're getting loose, interfering with traffic, barking at all hours of the night. So we sort of looked at that history of the property and the dogs. There's been a number of different court hearings since then leading up to the trial. In addition, there's been some other reporting sort of adjacent to the trial. There's been the sort of effect on the Monadnock Humane Society. They're the organization that's been caring for the dogs. They're now in temporary foster homes, but the Humane Society still handles medical care, still covers the costs. It's also sort of fed into a larger discussion of animal cruelty laws in New Hampshire, whether things need to be changed. There's some bills at the State House right now. So we've also reported on those in connection with the Ruggieri case. Next up is a sentencing hearing that's in a little over a month. And judge can decide if jail time is warranted, some other form of punishment. Judges also have the authority to restrict someone's future animal ownership in a case like this. That's probably not going to be the last word, though. Ruggieri's attorney said he plans to appeal the verdict, so there could be a jury trial in Superior Court later this year. One thing I've learned covering the court system is you really need a good sense of sort of process. You need to be able to read these documents with all sorts of arcane terms, figure out what they are, and then in turn translate that to readers.